Bill Panoff here with Porthole Cruise Magazine. Holland America is one of the oldest cruise lines, having celebrated just 148 years in the business. Joining us today to talk about what's next for Holland America is the president of the cruise line, Gus Ortocha. Gus, great to have you back once again.
Thank you, Bill. Pleasure to be here.
148 years, that's quite a milestone. How did Holland America, the team, celebrate the anniversary? And do you have something special planned once cruising resumes?
148 years is quite an achievement. There are very few companies, certainly in the cruise space, no one's had that type of longevity. We did events, small little gatherings, appropriately physically distant on board our ships. I was actually on board one of our ships as well. I visited Nieuw Statendam in Port Everglades. So I spent some time with the team and looked over the ship. So we did a small, internal recognition of that achievement. I'd love nothing more than to be able to celebrate it on board. And if we resume cruising here shortly, we will have some, special events over dinners or ways to recognize that achievement.
Holland also just recently announced something very interesting, that the Have It All premium package. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Sure. Well, look, I'm new in the role, and as part of that, as anyone that would be new in a senior role like mine, we're looking at all aspects of the business. Many companies are taking the opportunity to do this, and we've taken the pause in operation to relook at what we do, how we do it, how we can improve. And I've spoken to a lot of the different stakeholders, our team members, our trade partners, and then guests. I had calls all over the world because Holland guests, we source a lot of international guests as well as US guests, and I listened to feedback. And this came out as one of the stronger asks particularly from our past guests as well as the trade. And I think the segment we're in, luxury premium, has moved towards more all-inclusive. Sure. And we've done aspects of this promotionally, but the feedback was it'd be good to have something that's evergreen, something that's out there based on what guests ask. So there are some differences versus what others do. And we listen to the feedback, and we were excited about making this change.
Does the Have It All package also include specialty dining?
It does. It includes shore excursions, which is a distinguishing factor. Sure. Versus what some of the other all-inclusive like packages that you see out there. And that was not surprising. That was the highest rated or the most asked for feature. So we wanted to make sure and include that. It has the beverage package. It has specialty dining. Wow. We have multiple specialty dining restaurants, and it has Wi-Fi. And those were, in that order, actually, what the guests asked for.
Do you feel that the all-inclusive will be like a primary deciding factor for guests when choosing their next cruise now?
I think it's an important element to have as part of the offering. Right. We felt, and not all the cruise lines have done this, but we felt it was important to have choice. And so we kept the standard fare as well as an all-inclusive fare. And so, different guests will make the choices that are right for them, but we felt choice was important. So we kept choices. We do expect, given the research, for this to be very appealing, and I wouldn't be surprised for a majority of the guests to choose this option.
Wow. What are your thoughts, Gus, on the CDC updated conditional sail order, and do you think that the Holland will be able to resume from the US by late summer?
I think there's been a lot said about the CDC's latest order, which I won't get into. There was an article very recently in USA Today, and I think the industry is working hard as an industry to try to get further clarification from the CDC so that we're able to restart in the US. I think at the moment, given the direction, it's not feasible. And so that's why you see a lot of engagement recently with the support of I must say that the congressional delegations, as well as gubernatorial support, has been critical for the industry. In
Sure.
Florida, in particular, Alaska and Texas have all been tremendous partners to the industry. But there's still a lot of work, and there's still not a clear path to restart in the U.S. We're optimistic. I think there's been significant engagement from the industry, the administration, and the regulators to find a way for us to restart. We're optimistic. We'd like to operate. For us, it would mean operating in Alaska,
Sure.
which, we've been in Alaska 70 plus years. So we feel very much part of those communities, and we're watching the impact this is having on those communities, and it's absolutely terrible. I mean, it's terrible. You might have heard we're opening up our lodges so that we provide some level of tourism to those
Fantastic.
people. So right now we don't know. We're optimistic. We think we'll get to something. We'd like to operate the Seattle round trips that we have planned for the summer, but we're not sure. In parallel, we are looking and planning on how we restart outside of the U.S. I think every cruise line is doing that, honestly, and you've seen some. Most recently, the announcement of Seabourn last week or earlier this week, I forget now.
Right.
And so we're also evaluating restarts outside of the U.S.
Have you made any decisions, or any decisions been made regarding the requirements to sail, whether vaccinated or not, for Holland guests?
So I think that'll depend. We always have to be in compliance. In the initial stages of the restart, it may vary by geography. And so we may have slightly different rules, procedures based on what those countries. So, if we restart in Greece versus the Caribbean versus the US, they might vary. And so, you could see what Seabourn's doing. Their intent is to vaccinate all the crew and to operate, at least initially, vaccinated ships, guest vaccinated ships. So that's because that's what those countries required, and we have to remain in compliance, obviously. So it'll vary. It's not a very clear answer because right now nothing's particularly clear.
Yeah, got it. The Nieuw Statendam will be the first Pinnacle class ship to sail to New England and Canada. What makes that part of the country so appealing for cruising, in your opinion?
It's interesting as I've come up to speed on the brand, and one of the distinguishing factors of this brand is the breadth of itineraries and ports we visit. It's not the largest cruise line, but the amount of ports we visit is quite amazing.
Sure.
And one of the niche kind of areas that we really distinguish ourselves in as a brand is Canada, New England. And there's a very loyal following of guests that really enjoy cruising in the Northeast. We've added longer voyages. As you know, that's a hallmark of the brand. We've added longer voyages. We call it Voyage of the Vikings. So they make their way over, Iceland and parts of Europe. It's 30+ day voyages. Those sell out very quickly. And so it's a particular geography that over the years the brand's really distinguished itself in, and has a very loyal following of guests.
Got it. Gus, I appreciate your time, and thanks for the update. And before you know it, we'll be out there sailing with you on Holland America Line. Gus Artocia, president of Holland America Line, thank you so much, and happy cruising.